BoDean 52, how are you folks? In today's video, we are going to talk about, are the Harley Davidson dealerships killing the motor company and their brand? Or is the motor company killing dealerships? So over the past year or so, Harley Davidson has less of a dealership network than they used to have. Now, whether that's on purpose or not, that's a different story that we will talk about because I have an opinion there. But we do know that some of the smaller dealerships that have been in business for a long time from Harley Davidson are going away. Either they're being forced out by Harley, they're not making enough money. We now know that Harley wants all their dealerships and I guess mandate that they're all going to have that same look. Now there's some folks that believe that dealerships have to pay fully for that. There's still some question from what I'm hearing about that, but regardless, some of those hometown dealerships that we just love and have had relationships over the years are gone. They just are. They cannot produce and sell enough motorcycles, and we hate that they are going away. The problem is, reality in the world, as much as we emotionally don't want them to go, is Harley Davidson is a business. They need to sell a lot of motorcycles. Now, they use their dealer network to do that. They use that to create a culture. They do all of that. There's a bunch that goes to what Harley Davidson's culture is about. But the reality is, if they're not selling enough motorcycles, they're going to get closed down. That's just the way it is. We don't like it. That is business. That just is business. And that is not good. And we know perfectly well. As a matter of fact, I was watching a YouTube video from Dan of Gears and Gadgets. And his video was about, how many dealerships were for Harley Davidson 4 years ago, how many there are now, and then he kind of overlaid Indian on top of that. And he definitely showed a reduction of, I don't know what the numbers were, 600-something dealerships for Harley, how they're down, again, I'm not sure the numbers, 150, something like that, and his point was that Indian dealerships are up. But regardless, I'm going to actually link that in the description because it's a good video, and Dan has an awesome channel. But it really did show that some of those dealerships are really going away. And some of that, folks, may be on purpose. So Harley, whether you agree with them or not, and there's a lot of things they do that I don't like and wish they would do different. It is a business. There is no doubt about it. And they make decisions for the long term. And again, we may not agree with it. We may not agree with models. We may not agree with a million things they do. But they are doing what they think should be their best interest of the long term. But they care. It's kind of like if you're a football fan, the NFL. They always talk about the brand and the badge. They don't want to do anything to screw that up. But the idea is, are they really killing all of these dealerships? Or are the dealerships maybe killing a little bit of them? Let me tell you why I say that. And what triggered this was I was on watching this morning Coffee with HDR, which is on every Saturday at 8 a.m. You should check it out. And he made a comment that a lot of people are having problems with Harley because of dealerships. And I can't agree more. And let me tell you the quick story. So I bought this 2020 run Road Glide Limited from a place called Capital Harley Davidson, just outside of Lansing, Michigan. But prior to buying this bike from them, I had a miserable experience. And I've had good experiences and bad experiences from dealerships, but I had a miserable experience at a dealership about 30 miles outside of Detroit. As a matter of fact, it was one of the Michigan Adam Sandoval stops, which I kind of chuckled on. I thought it was cool and great turnout and great cause. You know, I almost want to pull Adam aside and say, let me tell you what schmucks these people are, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll leave you a link on that video as well. But when I talked to the owner of Capital Harley, she owns a couple dealerships, just really super good person, but you can see that kind of trickles down into her team. And they were just so freaking awesome. And when I originally met her and talked to her about why I was there and had such a bad experience, she said something interesting to me. She said, you know, I hate to see that, Bob. And I go, yeah, me too. And I go, but why? And she says, here's why. As a Harley Davidson dealer owner, there are a lot of people that hear about Harleys or come into the dealership, and if they have an experience like you do, they may, or they probably will never come back to a Harley Davidson dealership, and they'll probably buy another motorcycle. Now, from my perspective, I'm not sure one bad experience makes you want to go somewhere else, but I get that, and I can fully understand that. And her comment to me was, you know, those dealerships, and she was careful not to criticize, they're hurting the brand. I want more people to ride Harley Davidsons, whether they buy them from me or not, because we love the motorcycle. But ultimately, if we don't treat people right, try to give them a fair deal, try to give them service, to a certain extent, truly become friends. I say this at work all the time. You know, you're never going to be a good leader in a business unless you truly give a shit about people. If you fake it, it doesn't work. You got to truly care. And that's one of the things I like about her dealerships. But the point I think I'm trying to make is, as much as we don't like Harley getting rid of dealerships, is the damage being done as much, I'm not going to say more, by dealerships as it is by the motor company? Because we know there are some bad ones out there, and we could talk all day long about that. As a matter of fact, if you will, leave in the comments section a short bad experience about a Harley Davidson dealership you were in, and a good experience about a Harley Davidson dealership you were in. And if it was bad, did that turn you against the brand where you were going back? I don't know, folks. I either way think the brand is important. I think Harley's doing things they think is right in the long run. And I guess there's when you have companies, whether it's a Harley Davidson dealership or it's a Subway, and they are owned by people and you can't fully control them, this is going to happen to you. But I just wonder if it's not as much the dealerships as it is the motor company. I love your opinion on that. As always, appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Be safe out there. Check in a friend. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.